So what's going on YouTube? This is Brian916. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. So on this particular video, we're going to have a discussion video about should you become an auto mechanic in 2018 or any year. Should you become an auto mechanic? I know that there was quite a few of these videos that circulated not too long ago. And I kind of wanted to throw my 2 cents in there because I felt like some of those videos left some things out that I believe could help a young person or someone that might want to transition from a different job over into automotive. So I'm just going to talk about, should you become an auto mechanic, pros and cons of being an auto mechanic. Are you cut out to be an auto mechanic? There's a lot of things to take into consideration. So first thing I want to mention on whether or not you should become an auto mechanic, a lot of it has to do with yourself. So if you like to do physical work and work with your hands and not afraid of a little bit of labor, then it definitely could be for you. If you're the type of person who prefers to sit down at a desk and type or do some type of office work, auto repair is definitely not going to be for you. So if you are transitioning from a different field into this field, you want to take into consideration that it's a highly labor-intensive job. So you will be physically and mentally tired because you have to use your brain and your body all at the same time. So it's not a mindless job. So you may find yourself drained at the end of the day from working your brain and your body. So that's first and foremost, the physical aspect of it. Of course, you will get minor cuts and burns. So you have to take that into consideration. If that bothers you, you will bust a knuckle, you will get bloody knuckles from time to time. Typically when you first start out as a rookie, you'll probably get a lot more busted knuckles. When you become experienced, you've busted your knuckles enough to know how to not bust your knuckles anymore. You'll start changing your strategies or methods when removing fasteners to see to that not happening, or buying better tools to see to that not happening. So the physical aspects, one. There's also the mechanical aptitude. You have to actually have some type of mechanical aptitude because not everything you can read in a book. You have to be able to improvise. You have to be able to have a bit of ingenuity of your own to be able to accomplish a job. Take for example on this Dodge rebuild that I'm doing behind me, the red truck on the lift. The timing cover had a stripped out bleeder screw on it, and I had to hammer in a torque socket and get it wedged in there to be able to bust it out. So that's just a small example of using ingenuity to get a job done where there's no manual or anything you can read to help you. So you do have to have a bit of ingenuity. So you want to ask yourself, how mechanically inclined are you? Because that plays a major role. And also how well you can understand the concept of electricity. Some people struggle with learning the concept of electricity because it's not visible. And same thing with vapors. We deal with a lot of vapors. Vapors aren't visible. So you have to deal with real tangible things that you can't see. For example, fuel vapors, and dealing with evap leaks, you can't physically see a vapor leak, and you still have to be able to diagnose that. So, you have to be creative in ways to be able to figure out where that vapor is coming from, such as smoke testing, using smoke to see where it might come out, or air bubbles if there's like air leaking out of something or something like that. You use soap and water and things like that to maybe create an air bubble. And these things may not necessarily be in some manual or college textbook. So you got to have some type of ingenuity in order to do these things. So that moves me on to the next topic, The next topic is actually dealing with people. So if you work in a field right now where you don't have to deal with people, or maybe you do have to deal with people and you want to get into a field where you feel you can just put your head down and work and don't have to worry about dealing with people, auto repair is not for you, because you have to deal with people in this business in a way which you probably never had to deal with people before. You essentially take on people's problems. So I may get a call and somebody, might explain to me how they have to be at work at a certain time, or they have to drop their kid off at a daycare or something at a certain time. So they really need to have the car towed in at this time, or it needs to be finished by this time. So you got to deal with deadlines. And people will throw their problems on you in terms of getting the car done quick so that you don't interfere with whatever schedule they got going. So that burden will be pushed on you as an auto mechanic, and you have to manage these people realistically and try in a nice way to let them know basically that that's not your problem. But people will push their problems on you and to try to not inconvenience themselves. So you will deal with people like you never experienced before dealing with customers. So it can be good and bad. I have a lot of customers that I've serviced for years who they give me stuff all the time, free tickets to basketball games. I've given motorcycles, cars, all kind of stuff. People giving me that I've worked on their cars for years and always did great work, give them a great deal, and became, family to them almost. And so some people, it is good in a certain way to deal with people on a personal level, because when you become a mechanic to someone, they refer to you as their mechanic. So it's like more of a, they don't think about the shop, so to speak, that you work at, but they think more about you as an individual, as their personal mechanic in most cases. Unless you work for a dealership or you work for some large chain. But most mechanics that's self-employed like myself, it's more on a personal basis with people. So will you be able to, deal with that, to deal with people on a personal level? Because you will have to do that. Next thing I'm going to mention is I want to mention subtle and small nuances that a lot of other YouTubers out there may not necessarily touched on that exist in this industry that cause people to quit. You might have to deal with other mechanics in the shop who may be hard to get along with. You may have a guy who is taking 1,000 cigarette breaks, and you guys might be working at, it might be a team structured pay, and he's taking 1,000 cigarette breaks, and you carrying most of the load. Or there's always some guy in the shop who is a prima donna and thinks he's better than everybody else, or wants to prove that he's better than everybody else. He knows more than everybody else. He's faster than everybody else. He has better tools than everybody else. Everybody else is not doing it right. He's the only one that's doing it right. There's a lot of that in this industry, and you got to be able to overlook people like that, because that does exist in this industry, where you have a lot of know-it-alls, or a lot of guys who create competition with other mechanics, whereas that other mechanic may not even necessarily know or even care. So you do have to deal with other mechanics' personalities on top of customers' personalities. All right, so as you guys know, I did a clutch job on an 05 on the Civic recently, and so after I got done with it, took it on a test drive. I don't know if you guys remember on the test drive, third gear had just a little bit of grinding. It's not too bad, but you can hear a little grinding when you put it in gear. Just a quick grind when it goes in. So I asked the customer about that, if he knew anything about that, if he wanted us to do anything about that. And of course he thought that changing the clutch was going to fix the synchronizing problem. So of course those are two separate problems, so there's no way changing the clutch can fix fix a synchro problem. So I ended up having to pull the transmission back out. So as you can see, I ended up having to pull that transmission right back out, and we got him another unit and threw it in there, and everything is good to go. But the point that I'm trying to make is sometimes customers' ignorance, or for lack of a better word, customers' ignorance will cause you to have to do more work, or they may leave things out, or they may even lie about something. For some reason, customers will lie. If you ask, if the vehicle overheated, how hot did it get? Did it redline? Did it steam, smoke, anything? A lot of times they'll lie to you because they don't want it to be a blown head gasket. They may know that may indicate a blown head gasket or something like that. So they don't want it to be that. So they may lie to you. So you have to deal with that getting into this business. So you got to be able to have thick skin when dealing with customers, because they will try you. If you're really thinking about getting into this industry, of course, being paid is probably going to be first and foremost thing on your mind. Is it going to be worth, investing your time in education? Is it going to pay off, when it's time to go and work in the field? It all depends on you. It really does. You're not going to make a lot at first. It takes a long time to become skilled enough to where really a shop wants to pay you top dollar, because you're not as expendable, if you will. It's harder to replace you. The harder it is to replace you, the more money you make. So you really want to spend a lot of time, if you are in school right now, learning things maybe other technicians don't do, maybe something specialty. Or you could go the self-employment route like I did, which I was employed by a dealership at one point in time. I also worked on commercial vehicles at one point in time, larger commercial vehicles. Now I'm back here in Automotive and I'm self-employed. So you can go the self-employment route, which I do highly recommend it if you are that type of person, to definitely go the self-employment route. But of course, it takes to have a lot of years of experience and a lot of know-how to be able to run a shop. There's really no one you can go to if a problem arises. You have to be able to handle it. So you really want to be an experienced tech before you go that route. So how much money can you make? I would say probably if you could go independent shop route, unless you get a sweet deal with a dealer, that's fine. But I'd recommend you go salary if you can and avoid flat rate. Although some flat rate techs, do make pretty good money. I'm not saying that flat rate techs don't make good money, because they do. But if you could get into a salary-based job, you'd probably be better off if you could get work somewhere for like maybe the school district, or you could work for the state, the city, the county, or something like that, or some type of fleet service. Everybody uses vehicles. UPS carriers, FedEx carriers, all these companies that use vehicles every day and put a heavy use on. If you could get employed with companies like that, and not so much the dealership route, or maybe not even the independent route, but if you go that route, that's also a good route to go to. Well, that's another option. You don't have to go work for the dealer right away. While we're talking about money, it's only right that we talk about expenses. And obviously, as a self-employed technician that run your own business, you're going to have a lot of overhead expenses. But just as a dealership tech, or a tech working for any company, you're going to have your own tools. And the tool expense is up there. It's a pretty high expense. So this is something that you're going to always have to keep buying. You're never going to have every tool you want. It's sort of, there's always something that you can buy to make your job easier. At the same time, you do got to be smart about that and don't go overboard, put yourself in debt, or trying to keep up with the Joneses if you're a new tech. And you see all the other techs out here got all Snap-on and Maco and all these designer tools. Don't feel bad if you have to start off because you got some Harbor Freight or you got some Craftsman. As long as the job is being done right, that's all that really matters. Keep your attention focused more on customers and how to properly service the customer and not to get distracted so much with tool brands or getting into a competition with other technicians over who got the best crap, because it's really not about that. It's about providing excellent service for the customer. Another expense that I go through shoes quite a bit. I can really tear some shoes up. Hats, I always keep a hat over my head, because you get under vehicles and drips coolant oil. Nothing worse than getting, coolant dripped on your head or oil dripped on your head. So most technicians wear hats because of that. And so, you go through hats, you go through shoes, gloves, you're gonna always be buying gloves. So there is some expenses there that you will have to consider. Should you become an auto mechanic? If I were to give you my opinion, I would say yes, because if it doesn't work out for you, you can always leave. You don't have to stay employed as an auto mechanic. Many people work as an auto mechanic for years and then they go on to do something else. But I can tell you this, there's really nothing negative I can think of behind learning a skill. It's something that you can always have. You'll save tons of money the rest of your life working on your own vehicle, your wife and family members' vehicle, friends, family, everybody. Even working for yourself, on a friend or on neighbors' vehicles or friends, you can make money on the side because they know you have that knowledge. You can always use that to benefit yourself. So there's really no negative that I can think of from learning a skill. You always can use it to benefit yourself. Or let's say you get into a different industry, you can always fall back on auto repair, because auto repair is a solid industry. It's not going anywhere. As long as you want to do this job, you'll always have a job. As long as there's vehicles on the road, there's always going to be somebody there that has to fix them. So this industry is somewhat recession-proof, and we actually do better when the economy gets worse. And the reason why I say that is because when the economy gets worse, what do people do? Well, they stop spending. They don't spend unnecessarily. So they keep those vehicles running. They need to resurrect that vehicle that's been sitting in the driveway for a while, that they were going to just do whatever with. Well, they got to get that running now. Or the same vehicle that they've been having for 10 years that they wanted to get rid of, well, they got to keep that vehicle now. So they're going to need somebody to repair it. So sometimes when the economy gets bad and we as auto mechanics somewhat get in higher demand, and I'm speaking from experience in this particular topic. A lot of it has to do with where you live. If you live in a small town and there's only like 2,000 or 3,000 people, you're probably not going to really make a whole lot of money. There's really not that many vehicles to work on if it's a little small town. You're probably not going to make that much money unless you're the town mechanic. So if you live in a really small town, it may be difficult for you to earn money as an auto mechanic. But if you live in a larger city, I highly recommend you to get into auto repair. It's very lucrative for mechanics in larger cities. There's way more vehicles on the road. Everybody has 2 or 3 vehicles. Things are moving a lot faster. So I believe that if you live in a larger city, it can be very prosperous for you. Every shop here is busy. Every shop where we live is jammed haven't seen my video, meet my coworker to get more information on how Dez the Auto Tech got his start. There will be a link in the description. But as far as should you become an auto mechanic in this day and age, I just hired a guy to transition from being a manager at a retail store to becoming an auto mechanic, essentially going from one of the top guys at his store to starting off as a rookie who is just getting in your way, so to speak, in automotive. So now we can ask him more, how was it for him? So why don't we ask Dez the Auto Tech, should you become an auto mechanic? So if you're interested in what Dez had to say, I'll put a link in the description, or I'll put a card somewhere up here. This is Brian 916. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.